right. Let me just make sure I've got everything set up where it needs to go. Facebook, you're on YouTube. Is it YouTube? All right. What's going on, y'all? This is dope. This is sick. So, hi, my name is JC. I am a practitioner of the Mucusless diet healing system. I've been practicing for over 4 years. I study under the world's leading expert in the practice of the Mucusless diet healing system, Professor Spira, where I am the chief media manager in his organization, Mucus Free Life, where we are basically devoting our lives to sharing the work of Professor Arnold Ehret. So let's get straight into this. How the mucusless diet healing system reawakens an intelligence that we lost through wrong eating. so for sorry for those of you that don't know what the mucusless diet healing system is, by the way, I'm going to be looking at my notes, so when I look away from the camera, that's what I'm doing. It's the creation of a man named Professor Arnold Ehret. And he pretty much spent his entire life experimenting on himself and helping thousands of so called incurables using a mucusless diet, which is a diet consisting of raw, cooked, starch free, and fat free fruits and vegetables, along with fasting. And he ultimately came to the belief, a conclusion through what he experienced on himself through his experiments and what he saw based off how he was helping people, that the foundational cause of all human suffering, of all ailments, is obstruction. So from head to toe, the body is obstructed by this mucus like slime, these harmful acids, these residues from drugs, and other ways. But it's mainly consisting of those three things. And so, unlike mainstream diets, which allow and prohibit certain foods, so they basically act like a food list, the mucusless diet healing system is centered around how to slowly and safely remove this obstruction from your body. And this is mainly done by using less harmful, natural, whole foods like fruits and vegetables to help you move away from the most harmful, greasy, ultra processed foods. And you also add in some short or long periods of fasting and other natural therapies like sunbathing, herbal protocols, exercise, etc. And pretty much as the body becomes unobstructed, you create the opportunity for it to heal itself. And that has been my experience. That has been the experience of Professor Spira, Professor Spira's mentor, teacher, the great Willie Smart Jr. We call him Brother Air in the community because he's the man that doesn't eat. He's amazing. And as well as hundreds of thousands of other practitioners. So now that we know what the mucusless diet healing system is, how can the mucusless diet healing system be used to wake up a dormant intelligence in our body? Sorry if I'm coughing. I'm coming out of a deeper elimination or detox. And pretty much the same concept that I'm communicating with those words. We use the word elimination a lot in our community. So our journey actually begins a little over 3 days ago. I hope this isn't being blurred out, but I just wrapped up my studies with the Mucusless Diet Healing System for the day, as I'm currently deep diving lesson 4. And so in lesson 3, 4, and 4A, 3 lessons, Eric is teaching us more about this art form which he created, he pioneered, and I only have found in the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And it's called the constitutional diagnosis. So we're not dealing with disease at all. Like we're not the proper authorities for that. We don't deal with it. We don't really talk about it in the mucus diet healing system. This constitutional diagnosis is the art of analyzing someone's constitution, someone's body, so you can learn the general internal conditions of their body. So again, nothing to do with disease, just literally almost like an X-ray. You can discern the internal conditions of their body. So how would you do this? Well, you could look at how somebody's body looks. Are they a bit bigger? Do they have more weight on them, more fat, or are they skinnier? How does their face look? Is it sunken in? Is it more pudgy? Do they have the black the black circles or the bags under their eyes? How does their breath smell? Does it smell like nothing, or does it have a little bit of a little nasty thing going on? Their age, their current diet, their craving. And I'm not telling you to do this. I'm not making this very clear. I'm not telling you to do this. But how does someone respond to a 2 to 3 day juice fast? And so much more. So all of that information tells you a lot about the general internal conditions of someone's body. But like, why is that important? Like, who cares? Like, what does that have to do with this body intelligence thing? Well, it has actually a lot to do with it. Uh, and I'll explain here in a second. But a trained practitioner of the mucusless diet that is helping someone, the more they know about those internal conditions, the easier it becomes to create a menu plan for that person to properly begin their practice, like as comfortably and as safely as possible. Because remember, we're trying to slowly and safely remove this obstruction from someone's body. We're not being extreme. We're not extremists. We don't do any of that. Eric denounced extremism in his book multiple times. Um, so we want to create proper menu plans for people. It's also a lot easier to predict how someone's going to react to those menu plans the more that you know about their general internal conditions. It's also easier to make adjustments on the menus the more you know about someone's general internal conditions. Because in short, the more that you know about someone's internal conditions of the body, like on the grand scale, you have the big picture. You know the mountains they have to climb, the valleys that they have to go through. And in other words, you know the type of eliminations or detoxes that they will have to go through eventually. You know the ones that they're probably not going to be able to work around. Like you're going to have to go through it. And so in the long run, you can help teach them the skills they need to know and familiarize themselves with, along with with the proper food items they're also going to have to familiarize themselves with, and supporting therapies that will be useful on their journey. So come that big elimination, they're prepared and they don't need really anyone's help. Though it would be really helpful if they could have someone's help. And then on the micro scale, the condition that someone's body is in right now at this very moment gives you pretty much everything you need to know to make the best possible decision for their body or for your body to help you eliminate whatever waste the body's currently dealing with. And so having all this information, understanding this art form of the constitutional diagnosis is, like, words fail me. It's an amazing practice, but without the clarity of the practitioner, how can the unlearned, those that need the help of the practitioner, help themselves in the long run? right? Like if I remove the practitioner from the equation, how can the person that doesn't know this information help themselves? And even if they know this information, they won't even know what to do in the first place. It doesn't mean anything to them. And so this is where this dormant intelligence comes into play. And this is also where the beauty of the mucusless diet healing system shines. So there is a phenomenon, a rite of passage, if you will, that occurs when someone practices the mucusless diet healing system as intended. And so by adhering to the principles of proper food combining, so eating the right foods in the right combinations and eating them in the right way, and following proper timing guidelines, so giving enough space between meals and drinks, as well as other activities like exercise and sunbathing, to allow your body the proper amount of time to digest the food and eliminate it without unnecessary interruptions. And here's the interesting thing: proper food combining and proper timing between meals and other activities is found within menu plans, not only within the mucusless diet healing system, the one that Eric pretty much recommended to the general public, but the ones that Professor Spear created and the ones that you'll find in services that Mucus Free Life gives. So you literally don't even need to think about like proper food combining or timing. Like you just have to follow what's on paper. So when you work these principles, the body literally starts to wake up. And it's almost like another internal voice joins the group. And like your internal group of there's a voice of your mind, there's a voice of your intuition, and now there's this new body intelligence voice. And so I didn't come up with this term, by the way. The very first time that I heard this concept like verbalized into a term, I was like, "Oh, like that's it." Is actually Professor Spira, and he has a menu planning masterclass, which is found in our uh, private membership. And so, Sarthak, what's going on, man? Big dog right there. Love that guy. So I'll put that up real quick. So you can scan that QR code, or if you're on your phone, you can take a screenshot and then scan that later. But that will lead you to the private membership where you can actually watch this video while it's still available. And he lightly introduces this concept at the very end of the menu planning masterclass. And so, from my observations, what I find to be really interesting is that because the mind and the intuition are a part of the body, this intelligence uses the mind, the voice of the mind, and the voice of the intuition to tell you what it is trying to tell you to do. Basically, it uses them as tools to communicate with you, but it will also use any and every other way possible to communicate with you. The body can speak to you in light pains or pressure. It's again, I'm getting big off topic. Let's keep it moving. So pretty much like, what is the purpose of the body intelligence and how does it develop? So from my experience, and again, 4 years into this practice, I'm a beginner, especially compared to the giants in our community. So take my opinion with a grain of salt. First, when the body intelligence wakes up, it helps you make the best possible dietary decisions that you can make. And it will let you know what mucus-free foods, and mucus-free foods are starch-free, fat-free fruits and vegetables. It will let you know what foods and drinks that are both mucus-free you should consume to best deal with whatever obstruction your body's trying to eliminate or detox from itself. And if you actually need to slow things down, like let's say the detox or the elimination is becoming too much, too debilitating, I've personally experienced it, like guiding me to eat cooked starch or use plant-based fats to slow things down. But there's a very specific way you want to eat cooked starch and plant-based fats. Like you never eat them alone as a meal. And we actually have how to eat those foods down to a science. And again, they're also found in the private membership. But we're creating a course that is going to teach you actually everything you need to know to how to actually wake up the body intelligence. And I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of this. Um, but yeah, we will actually show for free how to eat those foods so you're not harming yourself and you're leveraging them to actually make progress in helping your body remove obstruction. So it'll let you know again what mucus-free food and drinks you should have, but it also communicates very clearly like when enough is enough. You know, I'm satiated. Stop eating. Stop drinking. If you eat or drink anymore, you're gonna hurt me. And it makes that very clear, like louder than it was before for me. Um, Also, whether something has satiated you or not becomes way more obvious. It's not a guessing game anymore. And in my experience, I personally started craving and using various food items that I had never tried or even wanted to try before. Like in the first year of my practice, eggplant. I'm gonna say that again. Eggplant. You see my face right now, like, what? But I was using tons of baked eggplant. Dude, I was blending it, I was making these amazing dips, and it was a way for me to get off of, like, really harmful foods that when I tried to stay on those harmful foods, especially into year and 2 and 3 of my practice, oh my god, they just absolutely destroyed me. Um, so let me get back to it. So, a really interesting personal observation as well, and, like, it's not an absolute truth, is that the body intelligence, as it relates to how it guides me with diet, does not function under the nutrition paradigm or the perspective of nutrition that I find in textbooks or in practice by people that, follow the perspective of nutrition. And like personally speaking, once my body intelligence fully took over, any leftover nutrition paradigm I had left in me was just completely obliterated. Completely obliterated. And I've spent time studying the origins of these nutritional theories, and I really want to go even deeper. But when I look at them, the people who created the nutritional theories were, for the most part, in my opinion, like completely out of touch with their body. And some seemed completely out of touch with their minds and all rationality as well. Like, just look up Francois Magendie, the guy that really took the protein theory to where it's at now. And yes, protein, this concept which is everywhere and is believed to be totally true, like it's really just a theory. And Professor Spira has a great video on the subject. If you look up on YouTube, Professor Spira, what caused you to believe in the protein theory on YouTube, he'll literally hold your hand through the history of protein. And it's not a very long history either, because the concept itself is like just over 200 years old. The word itself, too, is only 200 years old. Uh, but we have a really experienced practitioner in the mucusless diet healing system that is going to deliver some amazing educational content on the entire history of nutrition in the years to come. And I'm really excited to be working with him on that. So anyway, in my experience, the body bases almost all of its dietary decisions. I honestly haven't found a single one that hasn't guided me based on what it needs to help it safely and comfortably remove waste. Decisions which are more grounded in the paradigm or perspective of the mucus diet healing system rather than nutritional textbooks. So the mucus diet healing system doesn't function under a nutrition paradigm. It lives completely outside of the box of, food adds to my body what it's missing. Food has life-giving substances, and so I need to eat the best foods. that provide the best life-giving substances. These life-giving substances are vitamins, minerals, calories, fats, proteins, carbs, etc. We call them nutrients. And so the big thing though with nutrition is um, everyone believes the best food provides the best nutrients, and those nutrients are going to rebuild my body, right? They're going to build up my body. They're going to give it strength, and it's also going to act as fuel for my body. So the best foods will do that. They will provide the best nutrients, but we can't agree on what the best foods are. And so that's why there's all these diets, and diets and nutrition is really just foodless. Like it just allows certain foods and they prohibit you from eating other foods. And there's no rhyme or reason to how you eat the foods that are allowed. You just eat them because it is believed that eating the best foods directly results in better health. And so mucusless diet healing system does not exist in that paradigm at all. Like at all, it does not. It is completely outside of that box, and it is way more dynamic. And I think just overall, like just more useful. Like the theories of nutrition, like really just look at them and it's like, how useful is this? And then look at the theories found in the mucusless diet healing system and say, how useful is this? And determine how useful they are by putting them to practice, putting them to practice and comparing them to each other. And it will be revealed really fast which one is more useful. And then just use the one that's more useful until you find something else that's more useful. So anyway, um, so the curveball though with this body intelligence, which can now remove the middleman from you achieving better health and actually taking the reins to your health. The curveball to it is addiction, especially addiction to harmful foods. So like I said earlier, the best way to describe the experience of the body intelligence at first, it's like a voice had just joined the internal group of voices that you have, which is the voice of your mind and the voice of your intuition. The thing is like people also have the voice of addiction in there as well. And I would argue that everyone has the voice of addiction to some degree. If you've ever dealt with substance abuse, you know exactly what I'm talking about, man. The voice of addiction, so seductive. It's so influential. And at times of weakness, it feels all powerful. Whatever it is telling you to do, you're going to do. But beyond addiction to drugs, there's addiction to harmful foods. And these are foods that we're trying to transition away from using the methods taught in the mucusless diet. And we call these harmful foods pus and mucus forming foods. So pus forming foods are all dairy products. So all butter, yogurt, sour cream, etc. Hold up, let me turn that on. Thank you. And Mergen, I will answer you. I will answer you very soon. So pus forming foods are all dairy products, butter, yogurt, sour cream, etc. All animal flesh, beef, pork, fish, crab, lobster, oyster, dog, cat, horse, animal blood, etc. All of it, all of that is going to form pus inside of your body. It's going to decay into pus inside of your body. Eggs, unfortunately, I know a lot of people like eggs. Those are pus forming foods. So, like simply put, if it's from an animal or it is an animal, then it's pus forming. And pus forming foods are they basically decay into this mucus-like slime inside of the body that's extremely toxic and very acidic. So it's extremely harmful to the body, but it's also very stimulating. And so that stimulation, that pseudo energy is what I call it. People think that it's actually good for them because it gives them energy, but we'll talk a little bit more about like how harmful these foods are later on. But so that's pus forming foods. Mucus forming foods are all plant based starches, so grains, cereals, bread, rice, potatoes, beans, etc. All plant based fats, nuts, seeds, oils, olives, etc. and all processed vegan junk food without exception. Now, mucus forming foods are less harmful than pus forming foods, and they're actually used strategically within the practice of the mucusless diet healing system. I just want to check the chat really quick. Oh, Merjan, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I said, what do you typically eat in a day? Do you incorporate fasting as well? I will answer that. Yeah, I'll definitely answer that at the end of this. So stick around. I will get to you, and I'm on the second half of this talk. So again, pus and mucus forming foods. The issue with all those foods that I just showed you guys is that they're not recognized. Addiction to rice, addiction to beans, addiction to nuts, seeds, addiction to pork, crab, fish, beef, vegan junk foods, it's not recognized. And even if it is recognized by someone and they were going to go talk about it to someone else, it's really not taken seriously at all. And it's not gonna be taken seriously by most of the world. And that's mainly because the consumption of these foods is so normalized. They're at the heart of cultural cuisines around the world, and they're found in all schools. All schools are giving children these pus and mucus forming foods, almost exclusively without, like, fruits and vegetables. They're all over cities. Every corner, every restaurant is serving these harmful foods. And virtually any live event that you go to, conventions, concerts, any of these things, they're gonna exclusively serve pus and mucus forming foods. What's not normal is to actually not eat these foods. You are considered very odd if you choose not to eat these foods. And so the issue is that people also live relatively long lives eating these harmful foods. So from the outside perspective, everyone's eating these foods. People are living 70, 80, 90, sometimes 100 years exclusively eating these foods. So they're just not seen as a problem. But I would argue that these foods are actually harmful because even though these people live a long time, when you look at the diseases that people suffer from that eat these diets made up exclusively of pus and mucus forming foods, especially in the second half of their life, the later half of their life, it's not good. It's really not good. The quality of life is so low. And I would argue if we didn't have technology and society set up in the way that it's set up with all these conveniences, and we were just living out in nature, um, like, it's wraps. Like, most of the people wouldn't really be living as long as they can live. I mean, there's whole professions dedicated to supporting people that are, like, physically incapacitated because of the diseases they're suffering, which from the perspective of Arnold Ehret and practitioners of the mucus diet healing system, the foundation of the ailments they're suffering from is the obstructions which were introduced into their body through wrong eating. And I'm actually starting to see like this unnecessary suffering of disease occur much earlier these days within my generation. So I'm 26 years old, and within the mid 20s, like early 30s, I've seen terrible, terrible things happen to people at ages way too young, like way too young. And I've even seen like young children suffer from kidney stones. You've been on this earth for less than 10 years, like, how is a kidney stone happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, these diets are terrible, and our bodies are really losing the ability to, like, deal with the type of obstructions that we're putting in our body because 'cause they're so weak. Oh, Eddie, so I just love you too. God bless you. And, so the the addiction to these harmful foods is taken really seriously by practitioners of the mucusless diet healing system. Professor Spira has a beautiful four-part video series where he covers the principles of addiction and relapse. And he speaks about it in the context of addiction to these harmful foods, addiction to pus and mucus forming foods. But if you're struggling with, like, alcohol, nicotine, weed, and other substances, you'll still find the information in those videos extremely useful because, again, he's just covering the principles of addiction and relapse, but then he focuses on the addiction to pus and mucus-forming foods. So, if you watch that video series, you're gonna be incredibly well equipped and prepared to navigate the mental battlefield that is trying to slowly transition away from these harmful foods. And unfortunately, in my experience, just observing hundreds of community members and people that have taken up this practice and ultimately drop it, a lot of the problem is social issues. And unfortunately, that's beyond the scope of the video. But, that would be a fun video thing to talk about. So you have the body intelligence. It wakes up through the practice of the mucusless diet healing system. But you also have this voice of addiction, which you've been following your entire life. Cravings, especially cravings for these harmful foods. So now you have to discern between the body intelligence and and the voice of addiction. Wouldn't it be really helpful to be able to observe people that had this body intelligence still put together? Now, it's gonna be kinda hard to find a living and especially high level practitioner of the mucus diet healing system that does live their life with their body intelligence leading the way. But, you can actually observe living people who are, f mostly free from the voice of addiction, and especially addiction to pus and mucus-forming foods, and you actually be able to see this body intelligence shine in a relatively untouched state by observing babies, by observing children. And I'm speaking in general terms, by the way, because from what I've observed in my years of food service, I used to manage for years a smoothie and juice bar, and also being plugged in with women who babysit children for a living, is that kids absolutely love mucus-free foods, the very foods which, if eaten in the proper way, reawaken the body intelligence. These beings that haven't been completely addicted to some of the most harmful foods on the planet, if you just observe them, they sometimes literally refuse anything but the best possible foods. Like, you can still see their body has the reins. And so I've spoken with practitioners who work for standard anywhere diet families. By standard anywhere diet, I basically mean, like, meat and starch almost exclusively. Um, I've spoken with people that babysit for families like this, and they're practitioners of mucus diet healing system, and, they'll because the parents just trust them, they'll give the kids lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, and when the parents come in, then they give them fruit that they're supposed to be eating. But when the children ultimately get sick and they start going through a detox and elimination, they will refuse anything but fruit, and for long periods of times too, like days and weeks. And from the mucusless diet healing system perspective, fruit is one of the best foods you can eat if you're gonna eat it all when you're sick. And and if you have your body intelligence already reawakened and you go through a fever, you go through, a elimination, you absolutely understand what I'm saying. Like, fruit fruit juice, lemonade, all those things, just a fruit-heavy liquid diet or solid diet is what you crave, and especially even after the worst of it has come out of you, you'll still be craving fruit because what it does for your body is it helps the body eliminate obstruction extremely efficiently, and especially the type of obstruction you're going to be dealing with when you deal with cold and flu-like symptoms, which is mainly like this mucus-like slime, this thick slime, and the fruit just goes in there and dissolves it. It just helps the circulation, moves the lymphatic system, all that jazz. So I remember, like, my childhood, I freaking loved fruit. and I always have loved fruit. But I grew up in Puerto Rico, and I grew up in the tropics of it, and it was amazing. I have a lot of memories from my childhood. And then, I actually moved to the Pacific Northwest, and for those of you that don't know, that's the very if you're looking at a map of the United States, at the very top left corner, it can get very cold there, and it can be rainy for, like, 9 months out of the year, like, you don't see the sun. Um, so I went from tropics to that, and I remember getting exposed to these really nasty processed foods when I first went into daycare, and they were it was nothing like the beautiful foods I ate when I was on the island. And I don't remember this, I just remember, like, not liking the foods, but my mother said that I lost a lot, during this time because I just wasn't eating what they were giving. And back then as a kid, I was just listening to my body the same way that I do now. But now we revisit this point of like the body intelligence is shining, but in a relatively untouched state. Um, see, and this has to tie in with what I just said about me being exposed to nasty foods and not eating when I was first put in the daycare. Professor Spira showed me how children are slowly transitioned um, into more and more harmful foods from birth. And all you have to do is just look at the ingredients of baby formula and various baby foods. Like some of this food's crazy. And I'm not blaming like the mothers. Like I know people are doing the absolute best that they can. That's not their fault at all. It's the fault of companies producing um, just horrible foods for people. Like some, I don't know why they do some of these things. Um, but this is the beginnings of how we're able to not only tolerate some of the worst foods in the world, but how we begin to crave it is as a child, we're just slowly given some of these harmful foods in the form of the baby formula and store-bought baby foods. And so I was already eating some foods that I probably shouldn't have been eating when I was young, and that's not the fault of my family at all. Like, it's not fault of anyone. It's literally just how the culture was set up. Every kid is gonna be exposed to foods that they probably shouldn't be eating, and so I already had some tolerance to some things, and so fast forward to me, being at the daycare, I eventually did start to eat foods, and I remember like months down the line, being able to actually enjoy foods that I was once unable to even hold in my mouth. And in real time, I transitioned myself from not only being able to eat these harmful foods, but to actually start to crave them. And I craved them for years until I started applying the methods of the mucus diet healing system, removing obstructions from my body and reawakening my body intelligence. And now I can't even look at these foods, like much less think about eating them. Like that would hurt me so bad. So uh anyway, what I'm trying to communicate with this addiction and the body intelligence in children's piece is that we can 100% lose contact with the body intelligence after we've reawakened because we already have lost contact with it. Otherwise, this reawakening experience that I see time and time and time and time again within the mucus-free community wouldn't occur because there would be nothing to reawaken. And so we need to work to reawaken this dormant body intelligence. And then we need to learn how to listen to it. And more importantly, we need to discern it from the voice of addiction. And so that's where Spira's addiction and relapse video series come into play. Again, a lot of that is like just theory and knowledge that you're going to have to apply once you actually get into the depth of the practice. Once you actually have the rubber meet the road. Um, but the really cool part is that if you do all that, you practice the mucus healing system, you study the principles of addiction and relapse, and the dormant intelligence is stabilized. and you've learned how to get out of the way and let your body lead the way, you'll find that it does a lot more than just guide your dietary decisions. And that's beyond the scope of this video, unfortunately, as it gets into like way more esoteric concepts. But the body intelligence, in my experience, starts to allow you to express a lot more of the untapped human potential. And a lot of it is like non-material, but yeah, again, it's beyond the scope of this course, but it is amazing. It goes beyond just telling you what to eat and what not to eat, so oh, man. I didn't see oh, Aline, what's going on, friend? God bless you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Billy, what's going on? Yes, sir. Hey, man, you can't have a movement without a bowel movement. My movements, everyone's having bowel movement, baby. A new earth. I'm in my 60 now, and I'm meds with addictions to sugar and then some. Would this system still work with my age and after eating wrong food for so long? Merida, we need you in here. La bendición. God bless you. I'm coming. I'm coming to PR, man. I might be there to stay. We'll see. Um, and then I got a message on a new life. We all about the esoteric. Man, Sarthak, I wanna share all about it. Trust me, I wanna share all about it, but I don't want them to yeah, I don't want to put me in a straight jacket and put me in the too silly room just yet. I'll get there one day. No, I don't. I don't want to go in there. Anyway, someone said, would this system still work at my age after wrong eating for so long? And this is actually a perfect segue into what we got cooking at Mucus Free Life. See, if you want help reawakening your own body intelligence, we actually have this new service called the Transition Diet Bootcamp, which is currently being run by Professor Spira, leading expert in the entire world, the practice of the Mucusless healing system, his protege, Brady Lou. And so the transition diet is just a series of methods that help you transition away from the most harmful foods by using less harmful foods. And it is the system that we use to wake up the body intelligence. It's the system every practitioner of the mucus diet healing system uses to wake up their body intelligence. And at this point, I would honestly say it's like a science because if the system is followed, and especially when it's tailored to you, the guarantee is that the intelligence will awaken. And it doesn't even really take that long when you do the right things. And so this boot camp, the service is oriented around teaching you how to build an extremely solid foundation of the practice of the transition diet. So we got menu planning, and we got some good stuff with the menu planning. You learn how to grocery shop like a practitioner of the mucus diet healing system. You learn how to use supporting therapies along with the proper eating techniques to speed up this awakening of the body intelligence and so much more. And so with the menu plans in this boot camp, you don't even need to lift a finger to when it comes to menu creation and adjusting your menus. You will, however, need to help Brady so he can help you by documenting the actual execution of the menu plan that you are given in a menu journal. And so you do have to do that every day. And if you don't do that, like we can't help you because we don't know what's actually going on. And if we don't know what's going on, we can't make the proper adjustments to guide you. But that's why we have really high levels of accountability in this boot camp because Brady's going to be interacting with you every single day because he's checking your menu journal every single day. He's checking, hey, what's going on? What's happening? You also get an accountability partner that you'll be communicating with every single day. And for those competitive spirits out there, I'm talking to you. We have leaderboards. So there's actually a point system menu journaling in your menu, that's 100 points every single day. We have weekly objectives, a series of things that you need to do within the week. Doing all those, 200 points. Showing up to the weekly meetings, 1,000 points. So we got a leadership, we have a leaderboard, and it shows who's doing the work and who's not. And for those that are doing the work, especially the top dogs at the end of it, there's some serious prizes, man. There's some serious prizes, but can't speak about it on here. But I am going through the boot camp right now, the very first round of it. My accountability partner, he's a freaking dog, man. Like we're taking it. We're going number one. I'm not settling for anything less. And if I get anything less, it's okay. I tried my best. But I'm going for number one, man. I'm going in. And Brady has been absolutely crushing it. It is a white glove service. So if you go through this boot camp, you'll learn everything you need to know to take the right action to not only wake up your body intelligence, but also stabilize it so you never have to go through the pain of losing it. Now, here's the thing. If you want to join the boot camp, you do have to be a part of our private membership. So you can check out mucusfreelife.com or you can scan the QR code that is going to show up right there. You can just take a screenshot of this live stream. And yeah, when you scan that, that'll take you to a page that'll let you know more about what the membership has to offer. So I want to just dive into. I got a question earlier by Mergen on YouTube, and they asked, "What do I typically eat in a day, and do I incorporate fasting as well?" So I'm actually coming out of a really intense detox, or as we say in the mucus free community, elimination. So a lot of what I'm eating is raw mucus fruit. So I'm eating a lot of raw fruits. But the reason that I'm eating a lot of raw fruits isn't because of nutrition. It's because from the perspective of the mucusless diet healing system, fruit is a dissolver. And so I still have some mucus and other obstructions in my head. I can literally feel it in the channels and I see it come out of my nose. And so what when I eat this fruit, what it does is it brings chemistry in that is very dissolving. And so it helps loosen this waste up in my head. We also have something called the lymphatic system, which is like the sewage system of the body. Now, the lymphatic system doesn't have any organ which drives it, which helps circulate the fluid in there. So, breathing, exercise, and actually eating foods which are astringent. So, when I say astringent, think of like a lemon. When you eat a lemon and it like it puckers up, that squeezing of the tissues, that's what's astringency. So fruits have various levels of astringency. Like lemon, very astringent. A banana, not that astringent. So I'm eating fruits that are a bit more astringent, that squeeze the tissues and help pull on the lymphatic system. And so that helps keep the waste moving, that last residuals. So I'm eating a lot of fruit. I'm drinking a lot of fruit juice because fruit juice functions similarly. And then I do have vegetable meals, so I'll eat like raw salads whenever I need it. But it sounds like you went, yeah, so yeah, Tharta, it sounds like you went going through some heavy elimination. Yeah, dude, you should have seen me. You should have seen me 2 weeks ago. Oh my, I can't even talk about it on here. Yeah, I don't want to spook people. But yeah, it was intense, man. Like my gums, my teeth, everything. It was total sewage annihilation. But, yeah, so I'm basically just eating, like, raw mucus free right now. I do leverage mucus forming foods. So like I said earlier, there's mucus forming foods such as, plant-based fats, plant-based starches. I'm using plant-based fats in the form of olive oil, so I'll use a small amount of olive oil, and the reason that I use that is because it grounds me, right? Again, we're not extremists. We don't want to do super long fasts. We don't wanna do extreme dieting. I'm never gonna not end a meal feeling satiated. I'm never gonna end a meal still feeling hungry. I don't do that, and I don't advise anyone does that. And so with the practice of the mucus diet healing system, you leverage these plant-based starches and plant-based fats in very specific ways so that you're still eating the best foods on the planet, but you're adding just enough of those mucus forming foods to keep you grounded, to help scratch the itch for whatever craving you're experiencing. And really what I'm explaining is just the practice of the transition diet. And normally, people would read this book, Mucusless Diet Healing System, and they would completely miss what the transition diet is, and they would spend, like, 2 weeks studying this, and then they'd have to go find an expert, which is really hard to do because there's not many of them out there, and try and learn it, and it's just a whole mess, and so Brady and I, we're plugged in, we're speaking with people every day, we're sharing the Mucusless Diet Healing System. Some people really take this practice on, and we notice time and time again, they're not grasping the transition diet, and that's not their fault because it's hard. So we he I flew out to him, he flew out to me, he's over on the east side of Canada, and we fit this course that we're calling the Transition Diet 101 course, and it's like our gift to humanity, where we are going to, um, basically teach you everything you need to know about how to eat with as little theory as possible from this book, so that in our goal is in under an hour. In under an hour, you can end that video, and you could go to the grocery store and start eating like someone who has practiced this book, spent thousands of dollars working with a professional. You're eating at the same level as them. You understand how to eat at the same level as them. You can craft menu plans at the same level as them. And oh my god, I'm currently editing videos because I do the video editing, the digital media production for Mucus Free Life, and they are so good right now. Like, for example, grocery shopping. If you've never dealt with fruits and vegetables, right, it's daunting because you can go grab a boxed meal, and you will get the exact same taste and the exact same experience without even thinking every single time. We are going up against factories that can give you the exact experience every single time. It's reliable. But take the untrained person, put them in the produce section, they see 7 different types of red apples, all these different berries, all these different vegetables. They don't even know how to begin to pick something. And if they pick a bad fruit, it completely ruins the experience. They're upset at the money they just lost, and they're like, why even be healthy? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so hard. But there's just certain skills you need to learn. And in under 15 minutes, Brady and I articulate exactly how to go into a produce section and using visual cues, using your sense of smell, using your hands, and hopefully you can use your tongue if you can taste some of this stuff, how to pick the best produce every single time. So it doesn't matter where you go into, you're picking the best stuff, and it's fruits and vegetables. And then the best practices for grocery shopping, because a lot of people believe that you need to go grocery shopping every single day because fruits and vegetables just wilt super fast. That's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. I go grocery shopping once a week, sometimes once every 10 days, because there's a certain way that you do it. And when you do it, you don't need to spend your entire life buying food. No one wants to do that. We want to live our lives. We want to use the transition diet as a way to better live our lives, to do the things that we love, to spend time with people that we love. We want to use it to enhance our life, not bind us and keep us from doing the things that we love. So, and that's just such a small portion of the course. I am beyond excited to get this to you guys. We have some of the best recipes we have ever made. And if you guys have been following me, I am a crackhead for food. I love food. I put my soul into some of these recipes, man. And Professor Spira gave us a recipe, which, oh my God, I've been chasing this recipe for years. And he barely talks about it. And every time he talks about it, I can't get the specifics down. And we got it. And we made it. And it's better than I even thought. And so we've captured it down in writing. We have it in a video. Super stoked to give that to everyone. That's a hit. I don't care if you're coming from Burger King. You're gonna love that. You are absolutely gonna love that. And then we have the famous zucchini Alfredo, worldwide, international. If you haven't heard about it, I think you're living under a rock. I'm joking. It's very, very good. And then, like, how to make a fruit juice, how to make a green juice. People don't know how to make green juice. People don't know how to make salads. We teach you how to make salads. Trust me, my first salad sucked. It sucked so bad. You don't have to go through that, like, at all. We teach you how to do it, and how to do it fast, and how to do it with the least amount of dishes as possible, because everyone hates dishes. I don't care who you are. Like, sure, dishes are nice and calming. Wouldn't it be nice to, like, do as little dishes as possible and just enjoy your food? We teach you how to do all that. And I could keep going on, man. I'm going to reveal all of it. I'm going to reveal all the sauce. So, if you want to learn about the transition diet course, if you want to, uh, yeah, learn more about that, just stay close. Like, it's coming, because the transition diet boot camp is going to revolve around the Transition Diet 101 course. And it's gonna expand upon it in ways that you can't find anywhere else on the internet, because the only people that can provide that information are the recipes only for boot camp members. No, those recipes are gonna be for the general public, free for the world. We're giving them all away for free, 100% for free. We just gotta finish out this course, and I'm hoping to have it by the first month of February. And I'm working my butt off to get it to you guys faster. But yeah, no, these recipes are gonna be, for the world 100% for free. I don't even wanna, like, do email exchange. Just take it. Just take it. Run away. Tell your friend about it. Take it. I lost my train of thought before that. But, yeah, someone on YouTube just asked, "Are you familiar with the Master Fast system? It's such a great tool to get the mucus and parasites out. You drink grape juice with lemon for 108 days and herbal tinctures with some other tools." So, I haven't heard about it. Thank you for telling me about it. From the perspective of the mucusless diet healing system, that would be an extremely aggressive fast. Like, when you tell me about grape juice and lemon, that that is, like, one of the most aggressive drinks that you can possibly drink, and then you're taking herbal tinctures as well. Um, I wouldn't doubt for a second that it would help loosen, dissolve, and eliminate tons of obstruction, but you could seriously hurt yourself by doing something that extreme. And you can still see and so I'm a much bigger fan of walking down a middle path that is much more stable and has a lot longer of a lifespan than extremism. Because I have tried extreme diets and fasting. Like, I've really tried it, and it's how I ended up with the practice of the Mucus Society healing system, because they didn't work for me. And I keep an eye on people that do take the extreme approach, and I watch them. And some people can do, entirely raw fruits and vegetables with raw mucus forming items for 3, 4, 5 years. But then when it's done, they fall all the way back to some of the worst foods on the planet, like literally raw meat, raw liver, um, and eggs and bacon, and a diet exclusively of those foods. And so I'm not a fan of that. And I'm a fan of creating something that I can work for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And I find that in the mucus society healing system, because it's so dynamic. It's not limited. If you're doing it right, it's not limiting, and it was never meant to be limiting. Um, it's literally just taking you from where you're at and slowly and safely transitioning your diet so that you're getting away from the really harmful foods over a gradual period of time. And you're not experiencing any type of unnecessary suffering. So there is suffering that occurs when the obstructions that were put into your body based off the wrong eating finally start to leave. For example, like cold and flu-like symptoms from our perspective are literally just old obstructions from unnatural, undigested, and uneliminated foods that are now leaving. It sucks. Everyone knows how bad a fever sucks. Everyone knows how bad it feels to have your nose congested, just all fluid in your nasal cavity. Oh, give me flashbacks. I just came out of that. Um, But from our perspective, it's like, well, that waste had to leave your body. And you can use that as a period to just reflect. Just literally sit back and reflect while you're just suffering as this waste is leaving you. And it's like I can't do this to myself again. I can't go back to the Burger King, the McDonald's, the cookies, the candies, the chicken tenders. I can't go back and hurt myself in a way that will produce these obstructions and produce the same type of suffering again. And then once it's done, it's done. You don't have to go through that. Well, you're gonna have to go through eliminations, but like once the elimination is done, it's done. And that's the beauty of the mucusless diet healing system. You can make permanent changes to your body, to your physiology, if you don't regress by going all the way back to eating the most harmful foods on the planet. And the very fact that you are removing these obstructions acts as like an insurance policy to keep you from going all the way back. Professor Spear often says, like, I can't go all the way back. And I've seen people try to go all the way back when they practice the Mucusless healing system, and especially if they've been doing it correctly. There's so much suffering. There is so much suffering as they try to walk all the way back, and it's literally just the body like fighting you or or giving you signals like, "What are you doing? Like, you were doing the right thing. You were eating the fruits, you're eating the vegetables, you're giving me enough time to digest and eliminate this waste. Like, what's going on? Like, this hurts. Please stop. Go back, go back, go back." And, yeah, yeah, so definitely definitely more of a fan of I think an extreme lifestyle with all the poison we used to eat on the sad diet need extreme measures. I don't necessarily agree with that. And I appreciate all the kind words that you say, but you can take a slow, gradual approach. Now, it would you would need to jump onto the best foods as soon as possible. But that's the beauty of the mucus diet healing system is that you can take the best foods and you can use them and combine them so that you're eliminating waste at a rate that is safe. Because, for example, after a decade of eating, or decades, a lifetime of eating some of the worst foods, your digestive tract is going to be so obstructed. I mean, that's how constipation occurs. Constipation, the inability to have a bowel movement, that's not normal, right? That should never happen. And it doesn't happen when when you eat the right foods. I personally, I don't need to use a toilet plunger. I actually didn't even own one for years, and I still like, I still don't use it because I don't have to, because I don't obstruct my digestive tract to the point where I can't have a bowel movement, so I'm literally, like, incapable of obstructing other things like that. Anyway, maybe that was TMI, but your digestive tract is so obstructed, and then other avenues of elimination, like the kidneys, they're completely obstructed with this mucus-like slime, harmful acids, drug residues, so they're not functioning like how they're supposed to. If someone goes in and they start dissolving and loosening waste faster than the body can get it out, that's how you kill someone from the perspective of the mucus healing system. Like that, like literally how you would kill someone, because they will drown in their own obstruction because they're unable to the body's unable to get it out faster than it is being loosened. And that is where I think the beauty of the mucus healing system comes in, especially when you apply it as it's supposed to be and you work with an expert, is they use that constitutional diagnosis. They scan the body. They know everything that's going on with you, and they create menu plans that start to loosen waste at the rate that your body is able to handle, and then we slowly increase the speed of loosening, dissolving as the body becomes more and more and more efficient with eliminating waste. And so year year 3 and 4 of the practice, if you've been working the system, if you've been loosening and dissolving the waste and removing it by having good bowel movements, by using like colon irrigation like enemas and things like that, you can do some insane. You can do things year one version of you could not even comprehend. Like for example, I don't really like talk about this, but like most of the day I just live on liquids. Like, and I'll have a fruit meal. Like, most of the day, I won't even, like, really eat or drink anything, and then I'll have something like a juice or like a honey lemonade or something like that, and then I'll have a fruit meal, like, 3 or 4 hours later, like, maybe a pound or 2 of grapes, or maybe, like, 1 or 2 apples or something like that. And I am working like 4 or 5, 6 hours. I'm running every day. I'm doing calisthenics or weights. I'm studying, I'm journaling. I'm an efficient, active human being. And I'm basically just living off of breath, fruit, and, like, liquids most of the time. And then at the very end of the day, when I have a nice little cozy meal, a little something nice for the taste buds, I'll have a salad, and I'll dress it up with a nice dressing. But I'll still juice fast almost every single week and things like that. Sometimes like 1 or 2 days at a time. Again, my own thing changes. It's very transitional, but I literally if I showed year 1 me doing what year 4 me is doing, his mind would be blown. He'd be like, how is that possible? Like, I can barely put 2 hours between my meals, like, I'm so hungry all the time. And what I'm doing would be so harmful to year 1 me because I was so inefficient at getting waste out of it. So, anyway anyway, uh, so yeah, yeah, so that is how the mucusless diet healing system can be used to reawaken an intelligence that we lost through wrong eating. This is my first live stream. I really appreciate everyone that showed up. I will definitely be doing this more often. And yeah, if you guys ever want to find me and get in contact with me, you can do so. You can do so by checking me out on Instagram at jcsjournals.com. I answer the DMs as often as I can. You can also find me on Facebook at JC Ortiz-Roman. And yeah, appreciate you guys for showing up. Thank you for everyone that showed out. If you're seeing this in the future, love you, appreciate you. And I will talk with you guys later. Peace.